Good afternoon, ladies. I want to walk you through your essay guidelines here. So what I'm going to do is walk through each paragraph and make sure you know exactly what you need and where to reference the documents that will be most helpful. So what you have submitted already, many of you still need to get it to me, please, is the first two parts of the intro paragraph. So you're writing three paragraphs: introduction paragraph, body paragraph number 1, and body paragraph number 2. It's a shortened version of a 5-paragraph analytical essay. So in the intro paragraph, you've described, I'm going to add one thing. We noted describe the convention. So 1 or 2 sentences, you've described the convention, what it is. Then you describe the members who attended. So describe 3 to 4 sentences, members. And going through your work, the most helpful thing with that is who wrote the Constitution. So looking back on this and summarizing in generalities, most of these men were upper class, educated men with high paying jobs. They were mainly Christian, and they had a lot of financial power and ability to influence change. So you can really use this to help you describe that. It should be 3 to 4 sentences. It would be even better if you add examples. So if you take someone for example, so you go on, you describe that, and you say, for example, Richard Bassett was a lawyer who had over 6,000 acres of land in Delaware. And that's a nice piece of writing there, okay? So add example for bonus and to be effective. Alright, next. Then analyze their point of view, describing the factors that could impact their opinions or their decisions. So 3 to 4 sentences here describing how might the fact that most of these men, so remember we did this point of view piece. Most of these men are wealthy, upper class, white males. What you want to do is explain in 3 or 4 sentences how does it impact their decisions being mostly wealthy white males. Alright, so you should have accomplished that in your first 7 to 10 sentences in your introduction paragraph. So this is all one paragraph thus far. Which brings us to our thesis. What you're going to do is make a statement, a declaration, if you will, about whether or not this group created a constitution that promotes equality for all peoples. Simply stated, it could sound like this. So this is a thesis frame. It can be first person. I do not believe that the designers of the Constitution created an equal constitution for all. Period. End thesis. No way! No freaking way, right? No way. Because, and I challenge you, because idea X, if you want to be a highly effective writer, add idea Y, and if you want to be an even more effective writer, and idea Z, which could then operate as your thesis. I'm only grading you on X. You need at least one idea, because, and then you state why it wasn't equal. Or maybe you agree, I do believe that the designers of the Constitution created an equal constitution for all, because you need at least X. I challenge you to go on to Y and Z. So that's the introduction paragraph. Let's move on to the body paragraph. So you're working on that this weekend, then you get into the analysis. Describe at least 2 resolutions the actual Constitution created regarding each of the major issues. So you need to cover 2 of the major issues from your worksheet. And the worksheet that I'm referring to is the one we completed in class yesterday. So U.S. who really won. So you're using this and you're covering two of the ideas and explaining what the actual Constitution said from the worksheet. Who really won. Describe which groups would and which groups would not benefit from these resolutions. So, 3 to 4 sentences. In their society, so we're talking back then in 1787, who would and who would not benefit? Groups in society, rich or poor, young or old, benefitee. Who would not benefit? And explain why. Don't just say the rich would definitely benefit and the poor would not. Explain why, please. Be thorough. Explain what some of the potential impacts of these resolutions would be for generations to come. So now trying to bring it to future generations, thinking about history. You know stuff. Think about the fact that the slaves aren't free. What does that lead to? The Civil War, right? Eventually slaves are going to be free in this country. All people will be free, technically. So you need to think of the future impact after 1787. You could bring it all the way to modern contemporary times, or you could talk about right away. Well, one of the things that happened, slavery continued in this nation, and the South is essentially founded upon slave labor. Don't use that one, unless you were already going to. Anyways, future impact after 1787, 2 ideas, and explain each. Maybe you want to talk about impact today. I mean, think about what's going on with Black Lives Matter. Think about what's going on with our nation today and how we are still divided over certain issues. All right, body paragraph 2, final thoughts. Restate your thesis. So, in new words, say the same thing. That's what I mean by restating your thesis. Don't just copy and paste your thesis. That's not good writing. Effective writing changes the thesis. Review your main points. So looking back at your second paragraph here, review your main points. Minimum of 2. So drive home 2 of your main points and explain each. Three to 4 sentences. And then finally, to conclude your paragraph, you're going to get what's called a synthesis point. You're going to connect what happened in the past to your life, to our world. So draw a connection to events you're seeing in our world today. The Constitutional Convention and the laws that it created still impact our world today as seen through, you tell me, then analyze. Take it a step further. Okay? And that will conclude your essay. Pay attention to the grading. Length requirement, 1.5 to 3 pages. That means if you show up with 1 page for your rough draft, I'm going to give you 1.5. I'm going to give you 60% credit. Alright? Intro paragraph. If you have everything we talked about, you're good. Thesis effectively addresses the prompt. So follow my directions there and you're good, and then proofread. Just because it's a rough draft doesn't mean you don't proofread. Please proofread. Alrighty everybody, that's it. I'm going to post this as your guide along with this video. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. If I haven't got your typed up first paragraph at this point submitted through Google Classroom, it is late. Please get that to me. Adios!